Hello students, welcome to the pole science of class 11 arts, and today we will discuss and proceed with the demerits of bicameral legislature. Previously we completed knowing about the definition of bicameral legislature. Then we read about the merits or advantages of bicameral legislature, under which we discussed 9 advantages, and today we will start with the demerits of bicameral legislature. So, number one point regarding demerits of bicameral legislature is it is superfluous and unnecessary. That means if the second chamber always agrees with the first chamber, second chamber is superfluous. If it disagrees, it is mischievous. According to Bentham, the second chamber is needless, useless, and worse than useless. That means according to the demerits, it is told that it is superfluous and unnecessary, because as we know that there are two houses of the parliament, the upper house and the lower house. So if both the houses agree to each other, then it will become what? It will become superfluous. And if upper house disagrees with the lower house in some cases, then it will be mischievous. That means it should be neutral. It cannot be friendly or it cannot disagree also. So under that certain condition, it is rightly told that the bicameral legislature is unnecessary. That means only one chamber is suitable, and according to the demerits, two chambers are not suitable. And according to Bentham also, he rightly said that the second chamber is needless, useless, and worse than useless. So he was not at all in favor of this second chamber. He thought that, or according to him, in a legislature only one chamber is sufficient. So according to Bentham, according to him, he said that the second chamber is needless, it is not needed, it is useless also, and it is worse than useless. He was not at all in favor of that second chamber, which is also known as bicameral legislature. This was number one demerit. After that, prevention of hasty legislation. Under this, if there is one chamber, the opposition parties are there to prevent hasty legislation. For that purpose, there is no need for bicameral legislature. So according to the demerits, it is stated that if suppose in unicameral legislature there is only one house, then at that moment, if that particular house is trying to become dictator or is ruling or passing the law according to the wish of their own, at that time the opposition parties can prevent it. There is no need for the second house. That work of the second house can be easily completed through the interference of the opposition parties. They can prevent this, whatever the dictatorship is being done by the one chamber, that can be prevented easily through the opposition parties, and so in that case bicameral legislation is not at all needed. Clear? After that, number 3 disadvantage is creation of deadlocks. Creation of deadlocks is related to if there are two houses, they may fight for supremacy. In such cases, the legislation is too delayed. If two houses are dominated by two different political parties, it results in frequent conflicts and deadlocks. So moving on to the third disadvantage of bicameral legislature, it can be said that if there are two houses, that will result in what? That will result in competition. And competition in the sense that they will be trying to call themselves as supreme. But these two houses are equal, but then also there will be a competition according to which they will try to show their supremacy. And in this way, conflicts and disputes will, of course, arise between these two houses. And if lower houses the member of the lower houses is from different political party, and the members that are majority in the upper houses are from different political parties, then it is sure and certain that it will result in frequent conflicts and deadlocks. That means conflicts and deadlocks in a frequent way. That means every now and then there will be conflicts, that is for sure. So that's why it is point number 3 is written as the creation of deadlocks. That means it will create frequent conflicts and deadlocks. After that, highly wasteful. So regarding the demerits of bicameral legislature, number 4 demerits is that it is highly wasteful. So as bicameralism is very expensive, it is highly wasteful. There is a lot of expenditure in the form of salaries, maintenance and allowance. And this is also a very logical disadvantage, because we know that if there is only one house, then what will happen, it will become less expensive, because the members, whatever the members' salaries, allowances and whatever the maintenance are needed for that particular one house or its members will be inexpensive, or it can be less expensive. But if we calculate the maintenance cost, the allowances and the salaries of the members of both the houses of the parliament, then we can rightly say that it will be very expensive. So in that case also we can say that the bicameral legislature is very expensive. After that, number 5 demerit is it is anti-democratic. As the member of second chamber are not directly elected, it is against the principle of democracy. They do not hold any kind of responsibility to the people. They are not representing the interest of the people. As I have told you earlier, that the lower houses, the members of the lower houses are elected directly by the people through the right to vote. But the upper houses or the members of the upper houses are elected through indirect elections, and some are nominated through the quota also, and that is by the president, where 12 number of approx seats are being filled up from the people who are from different backgrounds, related to sports person, related to literature field, related to cultural field. So all these members whichever are elected to the upper house, they are elected not through the proper democratic process, that means not through the right to vote of the people, but through the vote of the ministers. So these act as what? This can be said as an anti-democratic process that are involved in the election or electing members of the upper houses. So as because they are not elected, they will not be responsible to the people, because people have not chosen them or given them vote, and as a result they will not represent the interest of the people. That means wherever they are, the place wherever the members are elected, and whatever the place they are being elected from, they will not raise the issues that are related to the interest or concerns of the people of that particular place that the members belong actually. So in this way we can tell that it is anti-democratic in nature. After that, no essential in federalism. So the interest of the state can be protected by the members of the lower house, political parties and independent judiciary. So in the merit section we have read that it is very much essential in federalism, but in the demerits section we have point number 6 written as there is no essentiality in federalism. That means bicameral legislature is not that much essential for federalism. And according to that, justification is given that if the interest of the state are to be protected, then can be protected by number 1 lower houses, where the members are directly elected by the right to vote of the people. Then political parties are there to protect the interest of the federalism, and last but not the least, the supreme law is there, which is known as judiciary, which is independent in nature. So in this way, if the upper house is not there, then also the interest of the state can be protected through the lower houses also, the political parties and the independent judiciary that are present in the country. Clear? After that, last point is, it is conservative and representation of vested interest. So second chambers are citadel of conservation. They oppose radical reforms and prevent the progress of the nation. So as we all know that lower houses of the parliament is purely based on democratic nature, as they are elected from the right to vote of the people. But the second chamber are citadel of conversation. Whatever the members are there, they will always oppose radical reforms. That means they will not be ever ready for any major changes that will be taking place for the development and welfare of the country and people. They will oppose always. Maximum times this member will oppose, and if they will oppose the reforms or changes, because changes are very much necessary in order to make the country developed. So if they oppose these reforms or changes, so as a result, what will happen? This will result in the prevention of progress, so that particular country cannot progress in a quicker span of time. So these were the 7 points related to the demerits or disadvantages of bicameral legislature, which was, according to which, point number 1 was it is superfluous and unnecessary. Point number 2 was it prevents hasty legislation. Then creation of deadlocks, in which conflicts and deadlocks are sure, that will be in a frequent interval of time. Then fourthly, it is highly wasteful. Then number 5, anti-democratic in nature. Number 6, no essential in federalism, because that essentiality can be fulfilled by the lower houses, by the political parties or opposition political parties and independent judiciary that are present. And number 7 point was it is conservative and representation of vested interest, because these people are not elected and they will always oppose reforms, and as a result what can happen, that they can prevent or they will prevent the progress of the nation. So with that, I will wind up today's topic, and I hope that whatever the points we have read today, it is now clear to you. Thank you.